Watches not to buy! My name is Watch Yourself Jimmy, George, James, Savile. And we're talking about watches not to buy today. But before we do that, I'm not a watch expert. I'm just a watch nerd. If I say anything you think's wrong or you disagree with, put a comment down in the description. Just don't be... Before I get into this video, I just want to say people have made similar videos to this. I know Teddy Balthazar made a similar video where he has a lot of the same talking points as well. This video is directly inspired by his, but one of the main reasons I'm making this video is because there are a lot of people in my life who don't know anything about watches. They don't know what watches to get, what watches not to get, and I want to give them a guide of how to not buy. They're never going to see Teddy Balthazar's video. They're never going to see Adrian Barker's videos. They're never going to see anyone else's, but they will see mine. So even if I help a couple people that I know and care about buy a decent watch, we like it. First watch not to buy. This is pretty obvious. Don't get fakes. Don't buy a fake watch. Don't buy a fake Rolex. Don't buy a fake anything. It's just bad. You're going to know in your heart of hearts you're not wearing a real one. Especially if you're going to try and pass it off as a real watch, as a real Rolex, as a real anything. You're just a bit of a if you do that. If you're going to admit to it being a fake, I mean, sort of fair enough. But I'm sorry, but the lucky man down at the beach who's offering you a Rolex for 20 quid, it's not a real Rolex. Just don't get it. Don't support those industries that literally use slave labor and produce awful fake watches. Those Instagram page that make super clones, they're just fake watches. Just don't support them. Same as I wouldn't advocate for it for jeans, for handbags, for trainers, anything. Fakes are a plague in every single industry. Same with watches, just don't buy them. And honestly, there are numerous brands, many brands, that are called homage brands that are the same. Steinhardt and Sterling are two examples of these brands. They have some original designs, but oh my god, these brands are so... They essentially just copy largely Rolex's designs, Tudor's designs, Omega's designs, Zenith's designs, Hublot's designs. They copy anyone that they can, put their own name on it, maybe tweak a couple things, but they're trying to pass themselves off at a glance as these other brands' watches, and they're not particularly well made. They look like a fake, and they get away with it because they're not putting their name on it. Homage watches are not well made. If you're gonna get a watch, you can get ones from reputable brands that look similar to those high-end brands. For example, if you want an integrated sports watch, but you don't want to go AP, get a PRX. If you want a Submariner, without paying Submariner money, you can get a Seiko Prospects Diver at a tenth of the price. Get something with its own personality, and if you can, save up for that aspirational model. Otherwise, just don't get something that's trying to pretend to be something it's not. Same with dropshipping brands. Daniel Wellington, Filippo Loretti there's numerous brands. They pass themselves off as brands with heritage, fake heritage. You will see the word heritage so much in the watch industry. Oh my god, every brand tries to pretend it has heritage. Daniel Wellington's one of the worst for this. Just don't buy Daniel Wellington. That's a rule. You're not getting value for money. You're genuinely not. You're much better getting something from a watch brand, a dedicated watch brand, whether it's a micro brand or anything. Chat to a watch nerd. They will point you in the right direction. Even if you just get a Seiko or a Casio or a Citizen, don't support these brands that are just making fashion watches without a fashion name. Hype watches, or watches massively over RRP. This applies to whether it's the Moon Swatch on the low end that retails for between £200 and £300, and at one point was going for like £600. It applies to that Tiffany blue dial Casio. It applies to every watch. Don't pay aftermarket prices for a watch. It'll be worth so much more to you if you get on the list, if you wait until it's more acquirable, or in the case of Rolex, as I said, get on the list and wait to get the watch in person. You're going to pay a normal price, you're going to pay RRP, you're going to be happier that you waited because it's going to mean more to you, and you're not going to be ripped off by some hole on the grey market. Just don't support the grey market. It's not good for anyone other than the person making the money, who's the reseller. Am I making sense so far?
Yeah, I saw the Studio Underdog watches go for like double the price.
Oh yeah, Studio Underdog. Yeah, they go for like double the price. Just wait. These brands, especially micro brands, they have to slowly ramp up production because they don't have massive factories. Like even Rolex is building 2-3 new factories because they want to increase production because they hate the grey market. Next watch not to get is fashion brands. I don't have a great view of fashion brands. When I say fashion brands, I don't even mean like Gucci. Gucci actually makes some decent watches now. That's a contentious statement, but they're working really hard to actually up their watch game. Same with Hermes or Hermes. Same with a lot of brands and fashion brands that are actually upping their levels, trying to get into the haute horology world. When I say don't buy a fashion brand, I mean don't buy a £200 Boss watch or an Armani Exchange watch or something like that, because you're being ripped off. They have movements from the Fossil group and they essentially let the fashion brand do the designing, but they're not designed by watch people. The finishing is shocking. The finishing is shocking. There's things that are off all over the place. Honestly, you will get far better for your money if you go for a Casio, if you go for a Seconda, if you go for a Citizen or a Seiko 5. All watch brands, you're going to get far more for your money. And I'm sorry, you don't get the name, but you're getting a good product. I don't care. I don't care if your watch has Boss on it. Get value for your money. No one who knows about watches is going to be impressed by your Boss watch. This next one is a bit more nebulous, but I think it applies to anything. Don't get watches to impress other people. Whether it's a Rolex, whether it's a Hublot, whether it's a Moon Swatch, just get what you like. And this applies to if you want a Boss watch. If you see a Boss watch and you genuinely love it, get it. I don't think you're getting very good value for money, but just don't get anything to impress other people. If you're getting a hype watch to impress someone else, like, make sure you love it. If you're getting a Nautilus to impress someone else, make sure you love it. Don't pay over the odds. Just don't get watches, and particularly paying through the nose for watches that you don't love just because you think other people will think you're cool for it. Bad boy. Something that I think is also really important, on the same vein as hype watches and paying massively over RRP, is the watch that makes you go broke. If getting anything, this applies to anything, not just a watch. If a watch purchase places you in financial hardship or means you're sleeping on the floor, you can't afford to drive a car to work rather than the bus or something. If it's the choice between a meal and a watch and it genuinely puts you in trouble, don't get it. Get a cheaper one. Get something you can actually afford. Wait till you're in a better place to get it. That literally applies to anything. So many of these apply to many things. A watch at the end of the day is just a thing to tell the time. Your phone tells the time. If you really need to just tell the time on your wrist, get a Casio. You don't need the Rolex. Last one, the risky eBay watch. the risky grey market reseller. Even if it's at RRP, if it's a vintage, take your chances. If it's a reseller like Watchfinder or something, we love it. Watchfinder are great. Shout out Watchfinder. Chrono 24, there's a lot of people I'd struggle with, but like, just if something seems too good to be true, don't go for it unless you've done a lot of research. I'd struggle with a lot of eBay watch purchases or grey market purchases. There's a lot of people trying to scam you out there. Chat to people who know more about it. Go to reputable brands you know about, or get something from an authorized dealer secondhand. For example, Bucherer or the Watches of Switzerland group, or any of these people, any of these brands have authorized pre-owned where they're serviced, they're authenticated. I'd much rather go to those. Same with Watchfinder. And at the end of the day, I've said this, but get things you enjoy, okay? I do not This is merely a guide to get good value for money, stop you from getting ripped off. But I'm not going to on what you like. I'm just not, okay? If you like that Armani exchange, if that makes you happy, you get it. I just want you to spend your hard-earned money wisely and on a better product and on things that you like rather than other people like. And I want you to spend no more than you have to. That's all this video is about. It's been a very serious video. It's been very serious. I get that, but it means something to me. It means something to... When people come to me at work, I will always try and get them the best watch that I can for their money. I want them to go to watch brands. If they are adamant that they want a fashion watch, all the power to them. I'm not there to tell them what they like, but I can just try and get them the best watch for their money. Do you agree with what I said? You don't have to. Nothing telling me telling you you have to. You might massively disagree. You might think I'm a massive pretentious twunt for this. That's not a swear word. You don't have to censor twunt. You might think I'm a twunt for telling you how to spend your money and giving you all of these rules. They're not rules, they're advisors. If you do disagree, put a comment down below. I'll be interested to know. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative at all, do comment and like and subscribe. Click that bell icon, lets you know when we release new videos. We try and do a couple a week. And watch yourselves.